Hey guys, it's Shadowflyer. Today we'll be taking apart one of the doors on my Saturn LW200 to fix the window that won't operate correctly. It won't move when I press the window switch, and it won't go up all the way even when I physically grab the window to pull it up. I'm not sure if you noticed in my last video, but if you look at the windows behind me, you'll see an extra thick black strip on the driver's side rear window. This is actually a piece of duct tape that I was using to keep a seal on the window during Hurricane Florence so that the rain didn't get inside. While I was on fall break, I was able to use my uncle's tools to take apart the door and fix the window. I've had this issue come up before, but last time I sent it in and they charged me about $70 where they literally said there was nothing broken, it just needed to be realigned. But that was years ago, and I'm determined to fix it myself this time to save some money. If your window regulator is actually broken, just follow the video to the part where I realign the window track and simply remove the regulator entirely. Then when you put the new one in, you can continue watching to get everything put back together. I apologize in advance for the first part of this video. I didn't actually start recording till like the 5th step, so I reversed my last videos to make up for it. Anyways, let's get started. First things first, let's remove the black plastic cover piece in the bottom corner of the window. It just pops off, there's nothing special needed, just grab a corner and pull it off. Next we're going to remove the window switch. I use a mini pick to get under it, but a small screwdriver or even long nails will also work for this job. Using that same tool, we'll remove the speaker cover in front of the door handle. And once that's done, we'll remove the little screw cover at the bottom. Be sure to look for the bottom of that screw cover. There's a little gap where you can get either a small pick in or even a pair of tweezers or something in, just something to give yourself some leverage to get that out. Once it's part way out, you can just grab it. It's pretty easy. With all of those removed, we can now remove the 3 Phillips head screws that are holding the black handle on. I don't show exactly where the screws are, but they're not exactly hidden. As soon as you look inside each of those, you'll see the just Phillips head screw that's in there. Once the 3 screws are out, we can pull off the handle and unclip the wire cover on the back side. Putting that piece to the side, you'll need to disconnect the wire harness. Again, you can do this with a variety of ways, but I found that using a mini pick worked the best. If you use the pick to hold the clip or the little tab open, you can then use your hands to just wiggle the 2 pieces apart. Next, we'll take off the door panel. If you run your fingers along the edge, there are clips holding the panel on. We'll pull each of those clips off, and then we'll push up from the bottom to get the entire panel to come off nicely. You may want to tip it a little bit to get over the door handle and wash the sides as they tend to get caught. After that, we need to detach the wires by gripping the wire bundle on each side of the plastic clip and pulling straight out. There's 2 clips total, and once you get those out, we can remove the transparent dust or vapor barrier. Depending on how accurately the white door panel clips were inserted, you may not be able to get the sheet barrier completely off initially. Just get what you can off and get the barrier out from underneath the door handle. Then we'll work on removing the white clips. Using a pair of needle nose pliers, grip around the midsection of the white door panel clips and pull straight out. They don't offer much resistance, so if you're struggling to get them out, try putting something under the pliers to act as a fulcrum. Just remember to pull straight out. Avoid pulling sideways too much. Once the clips are removed, go ahead and take off the rest of the vapor barrier. You'll have to go around the dangling wires in the door handle if you haven't already adjusted for those, but also be careful with the door lock at the top. It'll move and it can come out, which is okay, but don't pull too hard or else you might bend it. Save the plastic sheet and avoid dirtying up the adhesive because we'll be using this later. As you can see with my window down, the regulator has detached itself from the window track at the bottom. When I press the window switch, you can see the wheel from the regulator move up and down, but the window doesn't move since they're not attached to each other. This tells me that nothing inside is actually broken. I just have to reattach the two in order to fix the issue. To do this, I'll need to loosen all the bolts holding the regulator in place. You should use a Torx T40 bit to remove these. However, because I didn't have access to a T40 bit, I improvised with an Allen wrench. This isn't exactly ideal, but in a pinch it certainly works. So if you don't have a T40 and you can't buy one, go ahead and try some Allen wrenches. They may get that loosened enough for you. We will loosen all 6 bolts, but to realign the system we only need to remove 5 of them. Leave one of the top bolts loose but still in to hold the regulator as we adjust it. From here, if you've discovered that your motor is broken or your regulator is damaged, etc., just remove that last bolt, pull the regulator out, and replace it with the working regulator. Then come back to this spot and continue on to watch us realign it and put everything back together. What we need to do now is push the regulator back far enough that we can pull the window up. The window doesn't need to go very far up, just enough to realign the track with the greasy white wheel from the regulator. Once they're aligned, you can pull the regulator forward, making sure that the wheel is now firmly connected into the track. Looking back on the outside, align the regulator bolt holes with the holes in the door. From here, you can replace the 5 bolts that we took out earlier and begin tightening them up. Sorry about the bird, I get distracted easily. Before we officially put everything back together, it's important to make sure that the window is still working. Do this slowly to ensure the window is properly aligned with the door. If it gets stuck at all, adjust the regulator and glass as necessary to get the glass to move all the way to the top and all the way back down. If you feel comfortable with how it's operating, you can tighten all the bolts and begin putting the door back together. Remember to tighten them just enough that they don't come loose with vibration, but not so tight that you risk stripping the screw or breaking it. Remember, if this happens again, you're the one going to have to undo that screw in the future. Or if you sell the car, you're going to really mess someone else's day up by stripping that screw out. Go ahead and replace the dust/vapor guard. You will need to stick the lock and handle through their respective holes to do this. Make sure all the door panel clip holes are aligned properly with the barrier and that the adhesive is fully adhered to the door. If the adhesive has lost some of its gripping force, you can get new adhesive from the store to help it stick. With that back on, we can reattach the dangling bundle of wires by pushing its 2 clips back into the door. Now, before you continue, watch what I do before you do it. I'll explain why in a moment. To keep the vapor barrier on, you can start putting all the white door panel clips back in. They push in really easily. If you seem to be missing a couple clips, look on the back side of the door panel. They may still be stuck in there. However, when I took off my panel, one of the clip mounts on the door panel actually fell off. So I'll have to glue that on before I can continue. So if this didn't happen with you and you're planning to put everything back together right now, don't put the white clips in the door. Here you can see where that piece fell off. All I'm using to reattach it is some super glue, a wait, and about 24 hours to let the super glue cure. Now, here's why I said to wait. The easiest way to put the door panel back on is to put all the clips into the door panel and push them all in at once. If you already put them back into the door, you can try to mount the panel like that, or the easier way is to take them all back out and put them into the panel. From there, push the wire bundle through the panel and align the door lock and handle into their respective holes. You'll need to press the panel against the door and slide it down first. Then you can go along the edge and secure the clips into the door by just pressing on it. With the panel secure, you can feed the window switch through the black handle and reconnect the wire bundles. There's no need to secure the switch yet, since you'll need to get behind it to tighten screws later anyways. Feel free to laugh as I struggle to do this with one hand, because I was dumb enough to hold my camera with the other hand, and this is just another reason why I need to use my GoPro next time. After reattaching the cover to the back of the handle, we can remount the handle to the door. Tighten all 3 screws to the same specification as I said earlier. Once all the screws have been tightened, we'll need to push the window switch back in. Then you can reattach the speaker cover and put the final screw cover in. All these requires for you to just push them in with your hand. The speaker cover and window switch really only go in one way. The final screw cover, you can, if you put it in the wrong way, you can make it a little more difficult for yourself in the future, so try to keep the hole at the bottom aligned. But other than that, all you have to do is push them in. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below for future videos. The final piece to this job is putting that corner cover back on by pressing in those clips. If you've done all of this, hopefully you now have a fully functioning window. Have a great day, guys.